Welcome to Trends and Forecasting and the Story of Color. This week we are going to continue talking about color a little bit and how trends and forecasters actually look at color. Now, there is something that we must pay attention to, and I keep repeating myself on this, is the importance of color and texture as far as fashion industry is concerned. When people are actually in the trends and forecasting business, I don't mean the people who are designers and they're trying to find out what is the next trend. I am speaking about professionals who are actually in this business, so that way whatever service that they provide, it's not only meant for fashion designers, it could be meant for anybody from any industry that needs to know the next trends in relation to color and texture and maybe style. Color plays a very big deal in our business. In today's lesson, I am going to go through it a little bit more in detail during my presentation so that you can see how color actually plays such a vital role and something that we actually take for granted. We just watch movies and we just think that, oh my God, the movie is so interesting. What we don't understand is color is such a big deal and it plays such a vital role so that we enjoy and have a good experience when we watch a movie. So let's go to the lesson and let's talk about it more in the lesson. Hi guys, welcome to the presentation. Today we are going to be talking about trends and forecasting and the story of color. This is more like a continuation of it. And again, in this particular part of the lesson, as you guys know that whenever I do fashion design lessons, I always like to leave the fashion industry and go to another industry and then come back to the fashion business actually. And the reason why I do that is actually very simple, is because you guys know that the fashion business is always connected with other industry. Like we as a fashion business don't like to just be in the fashion arena alone. We need to start looking at different things from different areas in order to really understand what is going on, how our business relates with other businesses, how other businesses relate with our businesses, because everything is like always, happening together in the same world. Now, you guys also know fashion is very much related to movies and TV shows and stuff like that. The people in the trend business are always paying attention to all the different details because it's very important. It's very important. So in the next few minutes, this is not a very long lesson. In the next few minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things which I'm sure you may have noticed it because I said so, but I'm not sure you may have noticed it in the same intensity or the way I'm going to show it to you. Now, this is purely a filmmaker's business. It's not fashion. It has nothing to do with fashion. But I want you to know that the people who are in the trends business, the forecasting business, are very much aware of something like this. They may not discuss it with you, but they're totally well educated on something like this, which I'm going to show you now. Okay? So, for example, let's take a look at the first one. If you look at it, now this is from a movie. Now, I'm so sorry, when I did this, I just totally forgot to write down the name of the movies. But these are scenes from a movie where what they're doing is the colorist or the people who are responsible for making all these movies, they're very much in focused. How do I say it? They're paying attention to the color. But they're paying attention to the color based on the story of the movie, based on the scene of the movie, the music, the background, what the story is about. Is it a love story? Did somebody die? Is it an action movie? Is it just a drama movie? Is it something scary? They're paying attention to all these different things, and it translates to color. Now, this is, I'm assuming it's a romantic movie, but if you take a look at it, you can see that in this frame, how many different types of color that they really look at. Now, this is something, we would never really pay attention to. So let's take a look at the next one. You see that this is like a very late evening look, and you can see the amount of color, the different colors that are used in this simple frame. Let's we'll go on to the next one. Take a look at this one. You can see how amazing the different colors come and play. Like it's like a painting actually. Now this one actually shows my point in this lesson very clearly. If you take a look at this picture, this frame, I mean the movie director, the way he's looking at the scene is he has the green rails pointing towards her. The actress is right there and the green rails is pointing, so that way when you're looking, you are actually using the green rails to point towards the character in that scene. If you look at this, this is another example of another color palette. As you can see, it's you know, they're using lighting, they're using color. Now I know this is not a movie making lesson. It's not meant to be a movie making lesson, but because it is a trends and forecasting, and because that really has a lot to do with the color and texture and patterns and stuff like that. Color, of course, is the underlining thing. It's so important. That's why I wanted us to leave the fashion business a little bit and start looking at something like this, because if I did not show this to you, I'm not too sure that you would know this. Not unless if you are learning film or if you're in a photography class, because your photography teacher will probably talk about stuff like this, so that way when you're looking through the lens, you're understanding, okay, what are the colors that needs to be highlighted in post. Basically means you shoot the picture, but then when you come to the computer, you actually know which colors you really want to highlight. That is the meaning of highlighting in post. Post means post-production. That means you take the photograph, then you come to the computer, and then you really work on the color. So here's another one, which is, I think this is the movie Sniper. I've seen it. There tends to be green all over because it's a military movie. It's the army, and the green is associated with the army. But if you look at this one, you can see, wow, this is really like a little bit more colorful. The guy is, I think, sitting down on a bed, lying down on a bed. But if you look at the color palette, I mean, wow, it has, like there's a black there, there's a red, there's a yellow, there's a pink, there's a teal. Oh my God, purple. It's like all over the place, but the scene looks so colorful. Now here's another one. If you look at it, you can see she is very much in focus because there's red on her with the orange, the light orange one. But then if you look at everything around her, that means behind her, is just like a bland color, meaning they're trying to focus your eyes on her as the character and the snow is falling type of thing, Now, so here's the recap on what we just went through. Like I said, this is a very short lesson. It's a very important lesson, but it's a very short one because I'm trying to show it to you like how a cinema person or a cinematographer or a movie director or director of photography in the movie field will actually look at a movie scene and try to they will look at a movie scene and they will try to figure out how they want the scene to look, so that way the movie is appealing to your eyes, so that when you watch it, especially those of you who are watching movies on Netflix, there's something known as the Netflix colors. And there are certain colors that you may find it in those movies that you may not find it if you went to the cinema, for example. It's like one of those things. And trends and forecasting people are very much aware of these things. They really, really pay attention to this. And these are the three things that they pay attention to: the color highlights, color dominance, and the color levels. Okay, the color highlights basically means if you have different types of red, some red is more red and the other reds are more, lower. That is, again, very the same connection with the color levels. And then the color dominance is like, if you look at any scene, you will always notice that there's one color that actually is more dominant. That means it's more on top, and all the other colors are like more on muted or more on the bottom. For example, if you look at like a fashion show by Yohji Yamamoto, you will immediately know that when you go into a Yohji show, black is always going to be there. There has never been a Yohji Yamamoto show where it was zero black. People know that that is his color, that will be the dominant color. If you look at Yves Saint Laurent, you will see that red flowers, pink flowers, yellow flowers are always going to be there in an Yves Saint Laurent couture show. If you look at Chanel, pastel colors are always available in Chanel couture. I don't remember too much about the Chanel accessories, but these pastel colors were always going to be there available in a Chanel show. So this is the lesson. It's very, very short. I wanted to keep this lesson super, super short because I am leaning into your midterm assignment, which is going to come up next, and I want to get on with it. Your midterm assignment is very simple. Actually, it's a little bit involved, but please allow me to go through it with you so that way any questions that you have, you can ask me later on. Now, a big part of your assignment has to do with how you present the project. Okay, presenting a project is super important. It's not about the color, but it's about how you present it. It's very important, and I really want all design students of mine especially to be very, very understanding and really pay focus and know that no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, if your presentation is not up to par, if your presentation is not there, all your hard work will go to waste. So it is very important that for this midterm assignment that you do pay attention to the presentation just as much as you pay attention to the content. The other one is there must be a black and white photo of yourself. You can be a little bit artistic in your photo. I don't mind it. As long as I know it's you, that's good enough for me. And you must have a short bio. 4 or 5 lines is good enough. That's the meaning of a short bio. Please do not write, I'm a student. Those of you who are in my classes from before know that I really don't like to read that because we're all students. There's no need for you to say, I am a student, as if everybody else who's reading your bio doesn't know that you're a student. So don't say I am a student because that sounds very, very, I don't know. It's just, don't say you're a student. Just say your name and say what you love, which designer you love, and stuff like that. That's perfectly fine. And of course, all this must be placed at the end of the assignment, okay? Now let's get into the assignment part. So this is what it's going to do. Straight, I'm actually very excited. Actually, this was not the original assignment. The original assignment was much bigger, and I thought, oh my God, it sounds like a final, even though this is a midterm. So I pulled back the assignment a little bit. So what you're going to do is you are going to take any fashion show of your liking. Totally up to you. It can be last season. It could be 20 years ago. I don't mind it. Totally up to you. The choice is totally up to you on which fashion show. But it has to be one fashion show. It cannot be like 6 different fashion shows of Chanel. It has to be one fashion show of Chanel's the season. You are allowed to choose up to 10 looks. 10 looks. And you're going to highlight the colors that you see. Okay, and you're going to try to do it like the way we saw the movie ones earlier. You don't have to go into so many colors. I just want you to know that are you looking at the right color or are you looking at the wrong color? That's the purpose of this lesson. This is not just a midterm for you to do something and give it to me and I give you the score and then that's the end of our relationship. That's not what it is. It's for you to understand that are you seeing what you're supposed to see? I want you to start training your eyes. You're looking at the color just the way the designer is looking at the color. I want you to be able to see it at his or her level. And that's the reason why we're doing it. You're going to present it to me as a book, PDF. It's digital, right? So you just save as a PDF and then you just shoot an email to me. 4 or 5 pages is okay. Please don't try to make it into a 20-page thing. I'm not going to sit all night reading your book. And the ending page must show all the colors. That means you can show, like each page, you can show all the looks and then the colors at the bottom. But the ending page, I want you to add all the colors together and put it on one page. Now that is your summary. That means when you look at that page, you know that that designer for that season has used all these colors in that show. That's the idea. That's the main purpose of what we're trying to do. And of course, you're going to submit it to me by the end of the weekend of, that's right after the midterm. I'm thinking the date is June 11th, which is a Sunday. There's no time. You can send me whenever, because Monday morning when I sit here at my desk, I want to be able to look at your project and start grading it because it takes a long time. This is a fairly big class. So I want to give myself plenty of time to really do my job and look and see. The main purpose is I want to see, are you looking at the colors as a forecaster or as a trend person? Are you looking at the colors correctly, or are you missing something? That's what I want to see. Thank you. That's about it. Thank you. And of course, I will see you guys in our live chat and all that stuff. Bye-bye. So we're back. Now that was a pretty interesting lesson. Now everything that you saw in the lesson, honestly speaking, did you ever notice the color combinations ever before? Like whenever you watch movies or you watch interesting shows on TV, or at least YouTube for our purposes, we can see that color plays such a huge deal, but we never really pay attention to it. Now, in the world of cinema, this is actually very common. The idea of color on cinema is that it's there, but it's not really there in such a way that it really tells you that, oh my God, look at the color, it's there. You just look at it and you just say, oh my God, it's such a beautiful color. Say, oh my God, everything looks so beautiful, and that's about it. But we in the fashion business actually take color to a different level, where we really use color directly related to our designs, to show off our designs. Now, some designs are meant to show off a little bit more than others, whereas other designers tend to take color so that their design is not so obvious. For example, if you look at designers like Yohji Yamamoto, he always uses black a lot. Now, it's not because black is his favorite color or black is the color. He basically says that I use black because on black, I can actually show you my design, because my design is very much black and white. He doesn't use the color white. He just uses black to show his design. Thank you for being in class and going through this episode. As you can see, color plays such a huge role in our design capabilities, and color is such an important component when we are actually designing and doing our work. Thank you. See you next time.
We had made love.